Okay, some of you. All right, 2, 2, 1.
Pickleball has been fabulous. The gang, they get together, they're just a nice group.
You got a point.
You got a point, you get to move.
Not all bad.
1-0 start.
What is the most important for me, I'm with people. I'm the type of guy that needs people, so.
Come on, Jim.
That's nice when you have a good partner.
I'm Jim Pollard, and I am 91 years old, or young, whichever you look at it. The game, at the start, the one side serves, just one person serves, the very first. And as long as that person is scoring, he just keeps on serving. But the minute he doesn't score, then the other team takes over. And then you serve into the square, sort of like with tennis. And, you know, I learned all my life, not all my life, but about 30 years, how to make the overhand serve. We have an underhand serve. That's not very nice. Actually, my mom died when I was 10 years old. My dad was just a real solid kind of a guy. He always had some new ideas. You can see the picture of the farm back there. Constantly, even during the war, he was building stuff. So I may have a little bit of it, but not as much as I like. And I helped out on the dairy farm and the dairy when I wasn't playing, so I stayed pretty busy. I'll tell you a story. When I was 14, during World War II, my oldest brother graduated. He headed to Albion on a pre-med program. He and I had been running the dairy. That meant washing the bottles, bottling the milk, and cleaning the equipment, night and morning, 7 days a week. Well, here he left and I was 14. And Dad put me in charge. And so I ran the dairy, but I got some wonderful, wonderful experience. It paid off through the years so many times. We just did it, you know. When you grow up on a farm, you just automatically be part of the team and you just do things. Nobody has to get after you, you just go do them. So it's a little different world now. One time I was in the dairy, I was about 16, I think. My dad, and he came in, he said, "Jim, I'm planning on doing something. I have no idea what it was." He said, "What do you think?" And I thought, wow, he wanted to know what I thought. And I used that, "What do you think?" all the way through my life. I'd be in a food plant in the middle of the night, and it's trying to solve a problem, and I turn to the people around me and say, "What do you think?" And it's amazing how it worked. There's little things in life like that that help us. And the personnel at Senior Center, all of them are just so helpful and so friendly. I just appreciate it. And we need that, you know, especially older people need somebody with that nature.
Hey, sir.
When I left the farm, I went to Michigan State and got a degree in food science. And then I graduated from state in 1951 in the middle of the Korean conflict. So I enlisted in the Army. And once I got in, I went to after basic training. I went to officer candidate school and got a commission. And my first assignment was at Camp Breckenridge, Kentucky, where I actually ran an infiltration course. Boy, that's a thought I've never really thought much about, but I was glad to be doing it. It was my job. I had to train them. Of course, I met my wife, Ruth, there, so that was a very interesting part of that life. So, Evansville was just across the border from where the camp, and they had a civic center there. And I wasn't a very good dancer, but farm kids don't dance very well, but she put up with it. Well, she was pretty, and she was understanding. And she had a beautiful soprano voice, and I kind of enjoyed music, so that was good. So wherever we traveled in Europe, if there's music, she'd be up there singing with the group, you know. She just loved to sing. When my wife passed, the boarders got together and put this tree right outside the window here that I can see every day, the flowering crab tree, and with the little message underneath there in her memory. So I thought it was so great. And I can look every day, there it is. So, of course, I have to look at her picture too every day, but. One of the nice things is when they had the birthday party. They had my 90th and 91st birthday party. And one of them took a picture. I got a picture on the counter there if you want to look at it. And sent it to the newspapers. So I was a celebrity for a day. No, they're just the friendly people. I think that's the most important part, as I said earlier. Colette was, she was the first, and she was just, she loved the Lord for one thing, and she went to Michigan State too, only 2 years at Eastern, but then she got a degree in journalism. Then she ended up teaching journalism at Lewis University in Chicago when she passed at 35 years old, so, which was kind of a sad time, but she had led a good life, so. Then I have 3 boys that are all pretty good guys. Paul is extremely special here. I try not to be a nuisance, but he's always looking out for his dad, so it's kind of nice. He is the planner for L&W Engineering, plus running the horse farm. So, my middle son, he just retired from Ford's as a boiler operator, but he has a furnace and air conditioning business. He's in Dearborn, which he's been running for over 30 years. So, and the oldest son, Jay, was a computer person. His work primarily computers, so. But they do like to work. Paul just loves to be busy. And taking care of me doesn't bother him too much, so. It's a great feeling just to know that they're happy. That's the main thing. Are you happy? That's my philosophy in life, you know. Life should be fun. Somewhere you may have to look for it, but we should be happy. Otherwise, we might as well not be here. Especially at my age. But happiness is very, very important. when you're playing, you play 2 games. Well, if you lose, you only get to play 1. If you win, you play 2 games.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. You stay in.
And some of the guys, they lose a game and they get down, and I say, hey, it's just a game, you know, and I try to lift their spirits because that's so easy to get down.
Turn the camera off.
You can edit that out, Jim.
But if you have a positive attitude, I think it's not too hard to stay up, even if things are rough. Well, Paul's kids gave him a ticket to go skydiving. He said, I'm going skydiving, Dad. You want to go? I said, yeah. See, when I was in the military at Officer Candidate School, I went down and took the physical to become a paratrooper. I really had a desire back then to jump out of a plane. So at 90, I finally made it, and it was fabulous. There was no fear, nothing at all. It just was perfect calmness, except that getting up there, the plane was crowded. There wasn't much room in there. And when we went to get out of the plane, my legs were jammed up because there's not much room, and my son has long legs, and he was the other side. I finally got one leg out and it's dangling. And my other leg, they're pushing. Finally I went out. And you see, and then I started spinning, and you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to straighten out so you don't spin. I thought, oh, am I going to spin all the way to the ground? But I didn't. And when you come in landing, you're supposed to lift your feet up, and they tell me I did a good job of lifting my feet up, so. Floating over Lake Michigan, it was just beautiful. Just out there in the sky floating. Wonderful, wonderful feeling. And dreams come true, you know, if you wait long enough.
Okay. Don't you take the camera off.
Matter of fact, I helped my son. You know, you might have noticed the hay fields around the place. I helped my son put up hay, which I was doing when I was about 10, and I'm still doing it, and I enjoy it. So, and I think he appreciates it too. So. I had about 30 years in Belleville back. Then when I retired in '92, I went 20 years to God's country, the UP, and had 20 wonderful years in the UP. The 20 years that I spent in the UP when I got exercise almost every day. Prior to that, I had been in kind of a sedentary job. And so I think that 20 years was just wonderful. I think that's one of the reasons I'm still alive, actually. So it's not all bad. I'm grateful too. Oh, another thing I've started. It takes me a long time to learn how to do things. But wherever I am, like at church especially, somebody's a liturgist or sings a song, I try to tell them, you know, how much I appreciate it, how good they were. And, you know, we think people know they did a good job, but they don't know. So if we can tell them, and I've just started doing that last 5 or 6 years, so concentrating on it. So, yeah, not too old to learn. Again, like we mentioned earlier, the UP time I was so busy. so active. I think that's the secret in life. Stay active.